I want to give you a tip that I recently learned that is literally transformed. I want everyone after this is done to go out and do this in your life because it is going to change relationships for you. You have this goal, and if you were to write out all of the steps, you would just be so overwhelmed that you want to close it off. But when you start taking those teeny tiny steps, it's like, oh yeah, oh wait, this is necessary. Oh my gosh, this is enjoyable. Oh my gosh, wait, this is getting better. We have to stop walking through life waiting for permission.
The world needs more Jenna Kutcher. I think so.
Hi, buddy.
Oh my goodness, it's Jenna Kutcher in the house.
My friend. Oh my
How you doing?
Good. Look at how beautiful your backlighting is. I mean, let's talk sets. This is amazing.
Well, you are the former pro photographer. I guess still pro photographer, but yeah, this came with the house. So she's got a new house, so this was not planned. I'm not smart enough.
You guys, that's amazing.
Speaking of things to be happy for,
you get to unbox it. I know I was so excited when I saw that you were going to hold on to it until we were together.
So this just came, I mean, we got the new house, and anyway, so this just came like, you know what? I'm going to talk to her in a couple of days. I'm going to open it live while we do this, live on Instagram, and YouTube will get the repeat. But you have been on a crazy tour. Just came back from New York City, and
it's been amazing.
Your face all over the bin.
It's a trip and not a vacation. Strong distinction. We made it. It was amazing, actually. It was so much fun.
How did you get these gold UPS? Like, it's stamped UPS.
I mean,
this is awesome.
This is where the magic is, Ev.
What does your mug say while I work?
It says you need a budget. So I have been working out of this amazing financial office in our small town in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And this amazing female entrepreneur was like, if you ever need a space for recording things, just come on down the street. And so I am using her mug. There she is.
I love it. Oh, what's this?
A necklace. I mean, it would look really good on you, but I think I know someone who it might look even better on.
I'll put it on right now. This is it. We lean into the awkwardness.
Ashley Hines says, which town am I in? I am in a small town outside of Duluth, Minnesota.
Well, the first word here says believe. So that now I have to put this on.
I know.
The necklace says
I am worthy.
I love it. I love it. And then look at this handwritten note.
That's right, Ev.
I love it.
I go big.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so while I work out the necklace, how are you really? The new book. This is your first book ever, right?
It is. It is. It's so unreal to like hold it in your hands. As I'm live right now, Tony Robbins is tagging me in stories. What is life right now? It is so unreal. You know the process of how.
I don't know how to put this on. It's not going to fit over my head.
Good luck by yourself. This is like a 2-person job.
No, I can do this. There's a little clasp here. Okay.
Oh, Evan,
but how do you really? How do you?
Women do this.
You have to do this blind, right? Okay, but I've never done this. Can I can wear it as like a headband or something.
I mean,
I got to take off my ear set, right?
I believe in you.
Okay, hold on. I got to take this off to be able to reach under and make it happen. So here's while I struggle with this is awesome. I like lean into the awkward here. Our mutual friend, Mel Robbins, told me that jealousy is a directional signal.
Ooh.
So whenever you're jealous of somebody, it means it's just an inspiration that's blocked.
Yeah.
And so when I was thinking, okay, what am I jealous of Jenna for? You know, like she's got the book, but like, what am I jealous of Jenna for?
Okay,
and the thing, the thing that came to mind was you're so great at connecting with people. You're really great. And when we first met in Puerto Rico, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
3 years ago.
It's like I fell in love with you, and I didn't even know I didn't know who you were. I don't listen to podcasts, so I know who you were. But it's like, man, she's so warm and so kind and so loving and so friendly. And we're all in this giant group chat with some of the biggest names in personal development and entrepreneurship. And whenever you're recognizing people and you're celebrating their wins, and when somebody has something great to share, I always feel awkward, like I don't know what to write. So it's like. Good job!
Great,
exclamation point. And then Jenna's like all emojis, and it's like, man, I don't know how to. So that for someone who's maybe more awkward or introverted or shy or like figuring this stuff out, what is your best advice? Well, I struggle to put this on. Of like how to connect with people. Let's start there.
I want to give you a tip that I recently learned that is literally transformed. I want everyone after this is done to go out and do this in your life because it is going to change relationships for you. So let me give a tiny bit of backstory. So I recently had my second daughter, Quinn. And for people that have children, I feel like there's two sides of the spectrum. Half of the spectrum loves the newborn phase. Half of the spectrum hates the newborn phase. It's one of those things where it's like this crapshoot of like whatever. And it was so fascinating because when I had my baby, I would be getting these text messages that were polar opposites. So some people would be like, oh my gosh, aren't you just soaking up every minute of it? And then some of them would be like, just hold on, it's all temporary, you're going to survive it. And I recognize that a lot of times when we enter conversations, we enter them with our own context of what we think someone should be feeling or experiencing. And we never actually give people the chance to say, how are you? Really? And so I started doing this thing with my friends, and I want it to become a movement, is I want for people to reach out to someone they love and say this, say, Evan, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at today so that I know how to show up for you appropriately? If you're a 1, I'm going to cheer you on, encourage you, give you that kick in the butt. If you're a 10, I want to celebrate with you. I want to just be with you and sit with you. And I think nowadays, especially because so much is so digital and we share so much of our lives online, it's like we just assume that we know what's going on in people's lives and how they are really. But when we enter conversations and just say, let me know where you're at today, and that way I'll show up for you in the way that you need it the most, it absolutely transforms friendships. So Evan, where are you at today? 1 to 10.
I'm at a.
You're struggling.
I'm struggling. Where is the opening here? Oh, there.
You guys,
okay.
Can you imagine if men had to do the things that women have to do on a daily basis?
Okay.
Oh, Siri just said that's not nice to me.
That is amazing. Let's go, Siri. Siri's standing up for me. Come on, Siri.
Gosh. Evan's at a
Siri.
1, they're saying.
I was at. So let's see. Today, I think it changes. If I had to answer that question honestly, I had a really rough sleep. Like the AC was off for some reason.
Your chili pad wasn't working.
My chili pad broke 3 days ago. It broke. Yeah. So I have this chili pad that you put on that like cools down the bed. And we were talking about that. It's fun.
Yeah, we were just talking
about it.
And
it broke. And I love cool, right? Like you need cool. So I was up. I had a really rough night. But I wake up. I'm working on my new book. And so I'm editing and I'm going through it. And I'm excited. Like I'm tired, but I'm excited. Yeah. And then I see all the edits that my copy editor came back with.
Let's talk about this.
It's overwhelming at the start because there's like 20 edits per page.
Yeah.
And like, oh my gosh, I do not want to go through this document. Right. Yeah. But like, okay, put on some music, change my state. Let's go. I am like killing my finger trying to open this grasp. Holy cow.
What do we think? Should Evan give it up?
No. Actually, listen, first off, this sweater is actually a women's sweater because I wanted the holes. Men do not get thumb holes on their hoodies. That needs to change. That needs to change. I didn't even know. I went into the warehouse because I love this. I love the sound, like the deep hoodie, like, oh my God, thumb holes. And I ordered a whole bunch. And then they told me after, that's a women's hoodie. Like, whatever. Perfect. I'm going with it. We're doing it. So I might as well go all in and get the necklace going too. So I see the book with like 1,000 edits in there and I'm stressed out, overwhelmed. And then, you know what, let's just start going through them. Let's just start one by one. And most of them are things I don't even care about. It's like I missed a comma or it's a semicolon instead of a whatever the other thing is called. It's like, okay, good. Yeah. Go use that. I don't care.
Yes.
And so
isn't that how life is though? Where it's like, if you have this goal and if you were to write out all of the steps, you would just be so overwhelmed that you want to close it off. But when you start taking those teeny tiny steps, it's like, oh yeah. Oh, wait, this is necessary. Oh my gosh, this is enjoyable. Oh my gosh, wait, this is getting better. One of the things that I loved about the writing process was the editing because...
You loved the editing? Oh my gosh.
I did because I just felt like every version got better. Like where it was like, every time I handed it in, I was like, this is it. I know it's it. And then it was like every round of edits, I was like, oh, no. This is stronger. This is stronger. This is stronger.
Yeah.
And
so
I'm like, I wish I could reach through the screen and do this for you. You did it!
Oh my goodness. All right, let's flip this around. Here we go.
Evan is worthy, everybody. Evan is
I am worthy. I am worthy. Okay, good. We got our
That's
chain.
Beautiful on you.
Chain gang.
Really nice.
It matches the logo kind of.
Yeah.
It fits the decor. Perfect. All right, good. This is my new look for the day. I love it. We're leaning in. Anyway, so like for the how am I really? So I woke up like feeling a 1 and then started getting to work and started feeling better. And then I saw how many edits I had to do and then went back to feeling like a 1 and I started working on it. And then it's like, oh, this isn't bad. I'm back. I'm like at a 7 or 8. Then we're going to go live together. Like, oh, I'm going to ask Jenna. I don't know why. Yeah. So now I'm down to a 3. So I go outside, get some grounding, spend some time with my dogs, watch the interview you did. Cause I normally read the book, but I haven't read this. So like I watched the one you did with Tom and Tom always asks great questions. Like, okay. I got a sense of where we're going. Anyway, so I think it bounces around through the day.
Now you're a 10.
Now we're 10 because I got the necklace all figured out. We're talking to Jenna Kutcher. We're making this happen. This is it. Let's go.
I love that. Isn't it crazy though, too? There's actually a chapter in my book that's titled Feelings Are Meant to Be Felt. And the reason is that I think a lot of times we're like moving through life and it's like we think that we're just going to wake up in a certain state and that state is going to carry us through the day. But if you think about like your emotional state, your feelings, your emotions, your energy, like everything, it's like it's constantly changing. And I think as adults, I've really learned this, especially as a mom, is like with my 3-year-old, it's like a lot of times adults paint this picture of like happiness is the goal of every day. Like just if you're not happy, get there. If you are happy, stay there. And it's like a lot of times we're like missing the full experience of life because we're rushing through feelings or we're not actually like sitting and being like, okay, where am I at? Like, why am I feeling this way? What is this telling me? What is the indicator here? So I think that's really cool too, to bring up like that you can be at a 1 and then a 10 and then a 3 and then a 5. And you know what I mean? It's like we're bouncing around. That's a human experience.
So you've had a crazy journey, you know, going from like working at Target and being a limo driver and forklift operator to then, you know, becoming a photographer, wedding photographer, being the best in the state for I think 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
And then launching like an insane podcast that takes over America to then doing the book in 2022 to then 2023 being a YouTube queen.
Someday.
We're planting seeds. We're planting some seeds there. So Jenna needs to be on YouTube, guys, right?
I know. You've always tried.
We'll get there. We'll get there. It's happening. Momentum is happening.
That's right.
But those are like some major shifts.
Yeah.
And as I was kind of researching your story and watching the interviews, this question of how are you really, is this just something that you use for other people, or was this also something internal that helped create the shifts?
Yes. Okay. That's such a great question. So, you know, the difference in conversation, and I feel like you and I have been at tables where we get past the how are you and the accolades and the good things and the fine and the busy and the good. And we get into the like where we really at. Like even recently when we were together in Napa and we were with all these leaders, we went around and usually people are talking about business and like around the table, it was so much about life. Like there's so much life happening. And when I think about like, how are you really, it's not only the question, but it's like the safe space to be like, I trust that I can handle the answers or the responses, or that the person that is asking me the question is there to like hold my truth. And what I think is so fascinating about it, so the subtitle of the book is Living Your Truth One Answer at a Time. And it's not about, I know I just love holding it. It feels like
it actually feels pretty amazing. I don't know what this cover is made of, but I like it.
I know, isn't it great? But it's one answer at a time, meaning this isn't a question you ask yourself once and you move on. This is a part of your life where you learn how to check in with yourself, where you learn how to honor that question and trust your own responses in it. And also how to extend the invitation for people. I feel like people these days are lonelier more than ever. Like we are kind of moving through life. We've had to move through life in silos for a long time because of the pandemic and everything. And now it's like we're coming back out and we're like, who are my friends? Where is the community? Who's going through life with me? Like, where is the village? And so I really think what's beautiful about the question too is it's like when we can start to get honest with ourselves, we can also invite other people to get honest with themselves. And there's a line in the book that it's like, in order to grow yourself, you have to know yourself. And I feel like so many of us are walking around and we don't even know who we really are or what we really want because we're just busy, but we feel like we're missing the point every day. We don't even know what the point of the busyness is.
You talk about the golden handcuffs that keep people
Yes.
kind of stuck in their business or stuck in their life or stuck in a situation where maybe they don't even like the thing that they're doing, but it's security and they're afraid to go to the next step.
Yeah.
Is this the question to ask to get you out of the golden handcuffs?
I think you already know the answer. Somebody messaged me this morning and she said like the best compliment I could receive about this book. And she sent me this long DM. And she said, Jenna, I have to tell you that I'm only 10 pages in and it's insane because I can finally hear my own voice again. Like
Wow.
It feels like my voice is shouting at me and I've been ignoring it for so long. And part of the book, and I don't want to give it all away, but one of the reasons why I wrote the book was that somebody looked me in the eye and they said to me, there's something you need to do and you know what it is. And I need you to go out and do it. And she looked at me and she said, do you know what I'm talking about? And immediately I was like, I have to write a book. And it was crazy because she didn't say, I think you need to write a book. She said, there's something you need to do and you already know what it is. And so when you think about things like the golden handcuffs, where it's like a lot of people are staying in jobs because companies are presenting all these benefits and these flashy things and, first class flying and the ping pong table in the break room and all of these things. We're not even pausing long enough to ask ourselves, are those benefits benefiting us? Like, are they actually adding value to us? Is this a reason to stay in a spot that I know I need to get out of? And so this woman had sent me this super long message and she was like, I don't know what to do. And all I said back to her was, you already know what to do. It's inside of you. You're just waiting for me to give you permission. But we have to stop walking through life waiting for permission,
I love it. And you've taken so many steps to live so openly in terms of the content you make and the vulnerabilities you're sharing. That's partly why I think people really gravitate towards you and love you, is that you'll just, even before going live here, it's like,
yeah, I gotta feed the baby.
I gotta go feed the baby.
I was like, Evan, I'm gonna feed the baby super fast, but I gotta get her down for a nap. Oh, so funny.
So, but the downside, I guess, of that is there's a lot of judgment that comes, and especially if you're creating content, whether it's Instagram or podcasts or YouTube videos, and you receive a lot of negativity, and you've certainly received your fair share. Does it just get easier? Is there a story you tell yourself? Does it still sting just as hard? For people who are on the fence to they know they're not feeling well, they got this thing, I'm going to write a book.
Yeah.
But then they're afraid of all the feedback and criticism and negative reviews. How do we get over it?
You know what's crazy, Evan? Something that's been so shocking to me, somebody asked me what's been the most surprising part of launching a book. And something that's been really unique to me is seeing who shows up. And I mean this with the most love in my heart, but there are certain people in our lives where you think that they'll show up for you and they don't. And then there are people who you who come out of the woodwork and rally and just support you and they believe in you. And it's been such an incredible process. And it's such a reminder for us because I think there's so much fear in changing or showing up as a new identity because we're like, this might make someone in my life uncomfortable, whether it's your partner or your spouse or your parents or your siblings or your friends. You worry about making other people uncomfortable, so you live in discomfort. And what's been so incredible about this process is people from my childhood, people from working at the paper mill, people from Target, people that have been a part of my life, whether it was decades ago or days ago, are showing up with so much love and support that it's the people that are meant to be there are going to be there. And I've also recognized that the fear in changing and making other people uncomfortable keeps us stuck. When in reality, the reason why people closest to you sometimes have a hard time supporting you is because they're watching you change and grow and they're still in the same spot. It's more out of their discomfort of you growing and them staying the same than the other way around. And so when you think about things like criticism or lack of support, that cannot be the reason why you don't do what you're called to do. If you dim your light or play small because of those factors, you are missing the opportunity to impact the people that are meant to be impacted by you, the people that are waiting to rally around you. And so it has just been such an incredible experience because there are certain people in my life who I've never felt closer to in the way that they're showing up. And then there are certain people in my life where I'm hey, maybe you don't get this, but that's okay. I'm so excited about it. And I won't shut up about it. And so that's just kind of where you have to land.
well, I think our brain will automatically go to the negative, right? So if somebody wants to launch a book and you get 99 positive and 1 negative comment, you still hang on the negative, right? So,
always.
And may not even be people you know. You're afraid of some random person on Instagram or Goodreads or YouTube, whatever. So how do you overcome that? Does it still hit you? Is that a mental exercise each time?
It still totally hits me. You know what's funny though, Evan? There's a massive difference that people don't understand between criticism and feedback. Mm-hmm. And our world has gotten so convoluted that we don't know how to separate those two things. And if somebody gives you feedback, that's incredible. You have an opportunity to learn and grow. When I wrote this book, in my head, I had to keep telling myself, this is what I know so far. And what I mean by that is I'm 34. I have a lot of life ahead of me. These pages are filled with what I have learned so far, what I know to be true for me and my experience and what I hope to be true for everyone else. But at the same point, there is an opportunity for growth. There's a chapter in the book that talks about how, like, when we used to sign yearbooks, we would say, like, never change. And we would say that because there's this fear of, like, if you change, will we still be friends? If you change, will we still have things in common? Like, if you change, will we still be connected? And I was like, if we could go back and re-sign all those yearbooks, I would write, I can't wait to see who you become. I can't wait to watch you evolve and grow and all of these things. And so when we think about things like criticism and feedback, if it's straight up criticism, you have to let it go. You have to understand that. But if there's feedback in there, how cool is it that we as human beings get to grow, evolve, change? We get invited to step into different spaces. Like, I actually love it. I think it fuels me because I'm like, I love contradicting myself. I love changing. I said I would never write a book. I also said I would never be a mom. And so, like, I am living in these things where I'm like, look at me go, look at me grow, look at me change. Like, what a beautiful invitation to be fully awake to life and to really understand that, like, we are students of life school. And so if people are giving us feedback and it's like actual feedback, like, how cool is it that we get to grow and evolve? I don't know. I think it's awesome.
The next contradiction is getting Jenna onto YouTube, right? And she said she's audio only.
True. I've never said never on that one. But you know what's funny, Evan, is that, like, so I just have always hated being on camera, mostly because I, like, don't like putting on makeup really when it comes down to it. And I've gotten so much more comfortable. I went live with Mel Robbins yesterday and we were literally like rolled out of bed, like just texted each other like, hey, screw 10 o'clock. Let's go. It's 8:30. And I was like, that to me is almost even more beautiful where it's like so much more relatable, but maybe I'll get to YouTube at some point. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not saying never.
It's the imperfect starts. Jenna's all about the imperfect.
I'm all about those.
Jenna in the closet making her videos. It's great. I love it. Okay. I'll just, every time we connect, I'll just plant another seed.
You leave those breadcrumbs on the path.
The world needs more Jenna Kutcher. I think so. What does America need to learn from small town Minnesota?
Oh my gosh, so much. Staying grounded. Why tater tot hot dish is a delicacy. Why you should say the word sauna and not sauna. No, just kidding. All of these things. You know what I love is that, and a very big blessing in massive disguise in terms of the pandemic is that I have always operated my entire business and career out of small towns. When I founded my photography business, it was in a village of 1,200. When I launched my podcast, it was in a town of 10,000. Like, I live in a town of 10,000 right now. And I love that we can connect like this. Like, to me, I always have wanted to just be able to show up and connect, whatever that looks like, wherever I am in the world. And so I just think it's really beautiful because a lot of people have excuses for why their dreams can't happen. And one of them always happens to be where I live, or that there's nobody in my area doing these things. And I'm proof that that's not true, but I'm also proof that, like, you can do massive things in small towns, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, I think that where I live and being surrounded by my family keeps me so grounded that, like, no one cares about my work in a way that makes it just feel like I get a life and I get to work. And I love the work I do, but I love my life even more. And that work helps fuel my life. My life does not revolve around my work. Even on this launch week, like I'm going to my parents tomorrow to go in the pontoon and like celebrate the 4th of July. And like, there's nothing better to me than building a business or building a life that allows you to be like fully awake to it. And so I just feel like being in a small town, it's like so beautiful because people don't make a big deal about what I do in a way that is so loving, where it's just a part of me. It's not everything. And I think in a world that is so fixated on titles and importance and accolades, it's so nice to strip it down and just be a human, like a multi-passionate, multifaceted human.
You got a concept of find your enough point, right? Mm-hmm. So like how much money, and every time I've heard you talk about it in relation to money, but does it connect to other things as well? Like how much time you spend in LA or New York doing tours? Like, is there an enough point for you there before you have to come home?
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny. So we went to New York City, and Drew, my husband, our 2 girls, and my mom all came with. And like, it was the day after launch. I had just done the Today Show, and we all went to Central Park, and I found myself riding a merry-go-round on these horses with my 3.5-year-old. And it was like the highlight of her trip. And to me, it's like, do the work and then rest. Do the work and then enjoy. There has to be a cutoff point, or else you're just constantly on. And what I think happens, and what I think has happened, is that like burnout is everywhere right now. And I was talking to Mel about this yesterday, but I was listening to this meditation, and in the meditation it said, for all of us, there was once a fire, but for many of us, we feel like ashes. And we forget that like all it takes is one ember, one spark to get that fire burning again. And I think a lot of us are burnt out. And so when we hear these messages that say like, pursue your passions, we're like, I don't even know what I'm passionate about. Like, what is passion anymore? I literally just get up, do my work, go to bed, and do it all again the next day. Like, how do I figure out how to move through life in a way that doesn't just look good, but that feels good? And there's a line in the book that talks about boundaries, because I think whenever you're talking about like drawing a line in the sand and saying like, this is enough, there has to be boundaries around it. And so for me, there's a line that says boundaries don't keep things, people, or opportunities out of your life. They keep you in your life. And if I want to live a full life, I have to build boundaries around what is the enough point in every area so that I am in my life. Like, I want to live fat minutes, meaning like I am here with you now experiencing these next 60 seconds of this minute so wholly that I can close my eyes 8 hours from now and remember right now. And that's how I want to move through life. I don't want to miss it. And so when you think about having an enough point, there has to be this threshold, because what happens is, and what leads us to burnout is that we're setting these goals and we're reaching them and they feel empty. And so we're tricking ourselves into saying, maybe that wasn't enough. Maybe I just need to go a little harder, do a little more, earn a little more, and then I'll finally be happy. And in reality, it's like, no. What if we learned that contentedness doesn't equal complacency, and that when I'm content, I'm present and joyful and awake to my life? That's what I want the world to know, for real.
I love that. All right. Last question. You've done so much to pour into other people. I mean, with the book, with the podcast, everything you're doing. And in our group chat, you're always praying for people when they have problems or issues or struggles. So if people today, before they go to sleep, were to pray for you for something, they're going to hold you on their heart, what would you have them pray for?
Okay, this is a great question. So I was thinking about this morning with my book, because when you work on something for so long, it's just this like outpouring of you, and you've been doing it behind the scenes without people watching. I liken it to watching a tree grow. Nobody's going to stick a chair outside and watch a tree grow, because it'd be boring to see. But in reality, underneath the surface, those roots are like lengthening and strengthening and reaching and like making that foundation stronger. And when I think about this book, it's this philosophy that people can wake up to their life and to start living a truthful life, like a life that truly feels good for them. And the prayer that I have is that people don't just go through this journey in the privacy of their own heart, but that they invite people into this question, this book, this philosophy with them, because there's something so truly beautiful when you can sit down with somebody and say, how are you really? and have them know with their heart of hearts that you are there to hold them, whatever their response is, whether it's celebrating them, sitting with them, waiting with them, praying with them. And so I just pray that it's not this journey that people go on by themselves. I hope that people invite others into it with them, because I think it is going to give us this richness of life and friendship and community that we've all been craving, that we've all been desiring. And it is literally the invitation to hand it to somebody and say, I have space for you, I have capacity for you, and I truly want to know, how are you really?
The woman is Jenna Kutcher. The book is How Are You Really? YouTube. We'll link it up in the description below. Go check it out. Jenna, congrats on everything. Thank you for the necklace.
Yes, you look so handsome. Thank you for your friendship, Evan. I love being with you. I can't wait till we're together again. And I am just so excited for your book. And I can't wait to walk you through this. I feel like I have learned so much in the process. And I was literally just telling someone earlier, I'm like, can't wait to like decompress all of these things and walk people through this journey, because that's just how I am. I just want to link arms and take people on the ride with me.
Amazing. Thank you, Jenna. Appreciate you.
I love you, buddy. See you later.
Take care.
To see my recent one-on-one with Mel Robbins, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I hate you, Evan. I hope you lose, Evan. I hope your business goes bankrupt, Evan. Evan, you're a terrible person. I spent the first 40 some years of my life trying to be somebody else.